Good morning, everyone.
Good morning.
Glad to see you all came out on this beautiful spring day. And today is our guest speaker Sunday. And we are blessed to have Mary Deenan with us as our speaker. And Maggie Irwin and Michael Contras are doing the music today. Thank you. Mary is a licensed alternative medicine practitioner, celebrating her 20-year anniversary in acupuncture this year. She is the author of a recently released book titled Living Fully, Release the Fear, Embrace Inner Faith. And Mary is an OSU graduate in family life education, a trained religious science of mind practitioner, and a healing specialist to her patients. Mary has made it her personal and professional mission to understand why we struggle with being healthy. Although she has focused her studies on what challenges our physical relationship to healing, the insights she shares can apply to all challenging relationships, spiritual relationships, family relationships, community relationships, work relationships, and even financial relationships. Mary's title this morning is Heal Your Way to Health. As always, we start with a couple of announcements. And first of all, Mary will be facilitating a 2-hour workshop this afternoon, starting at noon, titled Live Fully. Mary will share insights she's gained about why we don't heal and how we can. It will start at noon, and it's made available to you on a donation basis. Like all our classes and workshops, after the service, you will find a lovely buffet prepared by our amazing hospitality team. And it's in the back of the fellowship area after the service. So no one has to come to the workshop hungry. Most of you know now we have a yoga class here at the church every Thursday afternoon at 1 p.m. Yogi Tamara Lieber is a certified yoga instructor and is offering this class for our members and friends on a donation basis. It is open to all, no yoga experience is needed, so it's a great opportunity to try out yoga if it's something new for you. Also, our annual summer concert is quickly approaching, and it will be held on Saturday, August 12th at 6 p.m. We'll be on the back lawn, as usual, weather permitting, enjoying the musical talents of our members and friends. It's always a really good time. And finally, Mary, thanks for joining us today and for your generous gift in support of our ministry. We are grateful. And now we'll begin with prayer. We're very inclusive in our prayers and unity, holding the highest in mind and heart for ourselves, each other, our communities, and our world. If you're joining us online, please remember you can send in a prayer request anytime via our website, unitydelawareohio.org. Just use the prayer request tab at the top of the page. Now Maggie will lead us into prayer with a song.
There is peace, there
In this stillness, in this peace, in this presence, there is a divine presence of wholeness, divine presence of spirit that moves through us, in us, and as us. And I know that this peace is me. This peace is us. This is the peace of our world, and I hold on to that peace, knowing that there is only love. So I claim today a lovely service, a wonderful spring, glorious day that shines its light in our lives, bringing us comfort and ease as the week goes on. In this stillness, in this peace, I am grateful. I am grateful for being right here, right now, in this community, having the opportunity to be with each of you, to pray, to love, and to bring joy to this world. And with that, I release this prayer, and join me in saying, Amen.
There is Only Love by Michael Gott and Karen Drucker. In this moment, in this place, I remember who I am, letting fear and worry fall away from me. I open my eyes and see there is only love. There is only love. Love that heals, love that sets us free. There is only love. Will I lose myself when it seems I've lost my way? When I go inside and quiet my mind, I can hear spirit gently say, there is only love. There is only love. Love that heals, love that sets us free. There is only love. There is only love. There is only love. Love that heals, love that sets us free. There is only love. There is only love.
And her music is just beautiful. I asked Maggie to sing for me today because I've just missed her voice. Thank you, Maggie. Some of you might think I'm here today to try out for the Bee People. But I'm not. I thought you appreciate
You
that.
made it.
I made it. Yay. Yeah, I can do a cymbal, I think. I can't sing. But anyways, thank you, Maggie. For the last several weeks, I was trying to figure out how to do a good intro to my talk. You know, you got to get a good intro. nothing was coming to me, nothing was coming to me. And then last weekend, I caught a cold and then a sinus infection. And I'm like, oh, great. Now I can practice what I preach. Yes, that was today's Sunday intention of a pun. So, for those of you who do not know me, I'll tell you a little bit about myself. More than I'm just a mediocre pun writer. So, I've been practicing medicine for about 32 years, alternative medicine. And I'd like to tell you that I got into medicine because I wanted to help so many other people. But the truth be known, it was all about me. I got into medicine to try to fix my issues. And so when I was, not long after my son was born, I was diagnosed with an autoimmune, which the doctors called an idiopathic disease. Does anybody know what that is? No known cause, no known cure. Good luck with that. Good luck. And I was like, I really do not like this diagnosis. In time, I've learned to make friends with it, but I honestly did not like it then. I remember going through states of depression. Why me? How come my body can't do these things? But eventually I was like, okay, I've got to do something different. I got to figure this out. But in the interim, honestly, I felt broken. My body wasn't doing what I thought or I wanted it to be able to do. So as I started practicing in my medicine, I have patients, and it could have been somebody with a knee problem, they had an injury. Or one of my patients who had fertility issues that couldn't get pregnant without medical assistance. Or the patient who got the diagnosis with cancer. There was a common thread between them, and that was that feeling of brokenness. Why isn't my body doing what I want it to do? How come I can't heal this? Why does my health do this to me? There were so many questions. So pause there, we're going to shift. How many of you have heard of the Mind Cure movement? I know you have, because you've been through the same training I've been through. So this happened mostly in Europe in the beginning. There were some scholars that decided they wanted to read ancient thought philosophy. That included Taoism, Buddhism, Hinduism, and they went about studying all of this. And listen to what they did. They came up with a new thought philosophy. Right? You have ancient thought philosophy, but they made them into new thought philosophy. I'm not sure exactly how you do that, but anyway, that's what they did. So we have this Mind Cure movement, and so there's a gentleman, Franz Mesmer. So the word mesmer just even kind of tells you something. Well, he rediscovered qi, and qi is a life force that we talk about in Chinese medicine, and he called it animal magnetism. Like, super. Then there was somebody called James Braid, and he rediscovered something called intertransformational meditation, and he called it hypnotism. Interesting, don't you think? Well, in Europe, they were like, oh, this is satanic. You can't be doing this kind of stuff. So it migrates to the United States, but they're very smart, and they combine it with Christianity. So there are teachers like Emma Curtis Hopkins, who Reverend Joanne talked about last week. And then there was Mary Baker Eddy, who was the founder for Christian Science. And there was Ernest Holmes, who was the founder for religious science. And then there was Myrtle and Charles Fillmore, who were the founders for Unity. So this movement's been going on for a long time now. So what were they trying to do? They were trying to help people's lives shift their way of thinking so that they might feel better or have a better experience in their life. They were taking a meditative, quiet, contemplative, prayerful state, putting in an intention and causing a shift in somebody's behavior, their thoughts, their beliefs. We've heard about this before, right? All of you have heard about this. So, Myrtle Fillmore says, we do not inherit illness. Fact check. Isn't that what we do these days? We fact check everybody? So, fact check. Yes and no. So, epigenetics we know about now means above the genes. And so we have these teachers and they're teaching us that yes, we are born with a set of genetics. And in that genetics, you might have epilepsy, let's say, okay? But it doesn't mean you'll ever have epilepsy, you just have it in your gene pool. So what causes that gene to turn on? Stress. Wow, stress. Anybody have ever experienced any stress? It can be from an illness, an injury, emotional stress, financial stress. It doesn't matter what kind of stress it is. But too much of it can cause our genes to flip on and create illness that we might not really appreciate, or experiences that we don't want to appreciate. So Myrtle was actually correct. We don't inherit it, but we might do something that creates its expression. Okay, so after all of this schoolwork that I did, and I thought to myself, can we really heal? Does this stuff really work? And the answer is, I don't know. Can we really heal our health? So I went to the dictionary, isn't that what you're supposed to do? And the dictionary told me that healing, heal, health, obviously all have a similar root word. But they also have a common Old English root word, and that is H-A-L. And that word meant whole, uninjured, and holy, H-O-L-Y. Wow, that made me start thinking. Holy. My true form is holy. My true form is to be whole. So how do we become healthy? How do we restore those broken, fractured parts of ourselves? How do we find balance between the physical, the emotional, the mental, the energetic, and the spiritual aspects of ourselves? Now that's the $1,000,000, trillion-dollar question, is how do I do that? So that Mind Cure movement continued into the 20th century, and Louise Hay wrote the book, You Can Heal Your Life. Do you guys remember that? Very few of us have not read this book. Well, this is an excerpt from her book. It's called Heal Your Body. I have used this book. It's in my office. I use it all the time. Not only just for myself, whenever I think, oh my God, what's wrong with you? And so what you're thinking, what are you doing? But I've looked at this multiple times. Even with my patients, I want to find an inlet as to how might I help them, maybe with their thinking or their belief system. So I'll look at this. And then there was an aha moment. In this book, you'll see one column, it says the problem, okay? The next column says a probable cause for this problem. Then the last column is a new thought pattern that would redo this problem. Super, great idea. So I was looking at this probable cause, and I realized in all of these pages, there is a least common denominator. Now I know I'm talking about math, and I am not a math person. This guy over here, the one I'm married to, he's my math guy. But I figured this out all by myself. There's a least common denominator, and the denominator is fear. These thoughts have a common denominator of fear. So if we were to reduce to one thought, it's fear. And if we are to reduce these new thought patterns, it goes into faith. Faith. inner faith. Not necessarily faith in a religion, although having a religious faith is great, but an inner strength of faith. What I have learned over the years is that, because I deal with energy, fear causes little holes, tears, rips in your energetic field. Fear does this. And it's like, wow, okay. Fear is tearing me up. Hear the fear thoughts? It's breaking me apart. I'm falling apart. These are all fear thoughts, but energetically it is an expression of what's going on within you. And when we have those tears, we leak our essence and our life force. That's what happens to us. We kind of start leaking. But there's a mortar for that. Has anybody ever had a leak someplace? You got to use a mortar to, I'm not the construction guy, my guy's, he's here too. But I do know these things. He is my all perfect guy. Anyways, there's a mortar, and our mortar is faith. It plugs the holes. It repairs the tears. And so, ultimately, when your life force is kind of dwindling out, it's hard to hold the faith. When fear is so great, it is hard to hold on to that faith because it's holy, not H-O-L-Y, the other kind of holy. You're leaking, right? And our job is to pull it back in, plug those holes with faith, and get that anchor of inner knowingness within yourself. Remember I told you last weekend I got the opportunity to practice what I preach? Yes, I was there not feeling so great, and my husband says to me, "What can I do for you?" And I said, "If you got a magic wand, I'll take one." Because I was coughing and sneezing and all the stuff that comes with a cold. And then all of a sudden, because I'm kind of working on my class for today and at the same time not feeling well, and I'm like, what part can't you figure out here? You're supposed to be practicing what you preach. And I'm like, oh man, walk the walk, talk the talk, you're asking me to do that? And the answer is yes. Can you walk the walk? Can you talk the talk? Can you practice what you're going to preach about? And I was like, okay, how do we get out of this pattern of fear and regain our wholeness? And the answer is super simple, okay? Simple. I know, you're looking at me. I didn't say it was easy, but it's called redirect. All the time, you're heading this direction and you go, that is not where I want to go. I got to redirect and look this way. And I'm heading down this way, doesn't look pretty, redirect. Redirect as many times as you need to do it, because that's what happens in our lives. We forget. We forget. I believe that we are an individualized expression of spirit, having a spiritual experience in an organic human vehicle. And sometimes this vehicle might not behave the way I want it to. My life might not always be the way I want it to. But the thing about this is that no matter what the challenge might face you, as you pull your faith together, as you mortar up all those holes, then whatever you might experience in life, you will have what you need to get through it, to manage it, and to have faith in yourself that I'll be okay, even during the times that I don't like. So when I was sitting there just watching all kinds of weird television because I couldn't do much of anything else, there is that moment that says, I'll be okay. I'm going to be okay. Yes, my patients are going to be inconvenienced, and yes, my next week's schedule is going to be crazy, and I'll be okay. That's inner faith. I'll be okay, even if I don't like my life experience, my human experience. Because that is the trick. To let go of the fear, release that fear, and embrace an inner knowing that I'm okay no matter what. No matter what. I might not like the experience, but can I hold the faith that I'll be okay? I admit last weekend, my fear talk was loud. I got a Chicken Little that's inside of me. Remember that book? She wants to come out. She wants to run around. She wants to tell you that the whole world is falling apart. And I sat her down and said, you know what? It's not happening today. So get your little hiney back inside there. We're not talking about this. But I have to redirect because my thoughts are normal. It's human to let myself forget that I am okay. That the faith within me will hold me, that there is no fear, never a fear that is greater than the faith that I can't put together. But it's up to me to do it. It's up to me to plug up those holes when I start to notice a leak. It's up to me when I get a tear, because it can happen, that I forget, and can I remember? Got it. Crisis in the corner. Anyways, so in that knowing, even if there's something wandering around back there, I have the faith that all is well, even when I don't like the experience of maybe a bug. Sorry. Sure, not a problem. No, a big bug. Big bugs need to be outside where they belong. But it's my fear talking, my Chicken Little that comes out and says, get it the bug. And I'm okay. We're okay.
We're okay.
We're okay. See, I told you. Because in our wholeness, we can face anything that our human experience might give us. We can face anything that our human experience might bring us with that inner faith, the strength that goes with that. So holding the faith, yes, I said it was simple, but it's not easy. So I have a favor to ask of each of you. Should I forget again? Because I might. Would you do me a favor and remember for me? Because I would be honored if you found yourself in a pickle and you said, oh my God, I can't get out of this. That you reached out and said, hey Mary, I'm in a pickle. Can you remember for me? And I would be honored. I would be thrilled to say, sure, I can do that for you. Because that's what it's about. That's what we're here about. So I invite you next week that if you notice somebody getting caught in their fear, if you notice somebody finding their way and their Chicken Little is just running around in circles, you don't have to say anything to them, but just know for them. Notice and know that there is nothing stronger. There's no fear that's stronger than faith, ever. And so whether you know that person or you don't know that person, it could be somebody in the grocery store and you hear them complaining about something. That's fear talking. Or you hear a family member and they just, I can't do this, I can't do this, I can't do this. Know for them. I'm okay. They're okay. Hold the faith for them until they can remember. If it's on the television or the radio, right now is a great time to hold the faith. To plug up the holes of our community and our country and say, we will be okay. even during the times that we don't like what we're experiencing. Faith, faith to make it strong. Faith to hold your heart in place in the wholeness of who you are. Our original state is to be whole. It's to be holy, not poked holes. Holy, H-O-L-Y. That's your natural state, is to be that. And let that be stronger, stronger, and stronger until it's part of you, that it's the natural state of you, that it's your knowing. You don't have a question whether or not faith is right there for you. It doesn't matter if you're trying to figure out your health in your body, or the health in your relationships, or the health of your finances, or the health of your community, or the health of our country. We can do this. Hold the faith. Grab a hold of it. Plug up those holes, right? And claim and know. Inner faith will allow you to live fully and comfortably and easily. Release that fear, embrace an inner faith, and live fully. Did I tell you I wrote a book? Oh, I think they did. I talk to my patients about this a lot because I found that physical problems, if our beliefs or our thoughts cause us to go awry, it will cause more physical ailments. Remember, I said we lose our life force. We lose our chi, our essence, okay? And in order to pull that back, you want to help them learn to have faith that the woman who's trying to get pregnant, it's okay that that medical system has something to help you. It's okay if you get diagnosed with cancer. There are things to help you as much as we can within the physical realm. Let people love on you. So, I wrote a book because they said, where can I read about this? And I said, it's kind of a collection of Mary and everything she's ever read. So, I put it together. Live fully. I'm proud of this. It's been a work in the making for many years. And it talks about what I talked about today. So I invite you each to the class later today, and we'll talk some more about some great opportunities, how to learn to redirect when you're headed this direction and you're like a runaway train. How do you interrupt? How do you redirect and go in a different direction, a faith-filled direction? So with that, I say thank you. And if you will join me, I'd love to take this into prayer with you. In this stillness, I recognize the force that animates this world. It is beautiful. We can feel it and hear it, even in the sounds of the water behind me. Today I will call this divine wholeness, divine holiness. I know that this force moves through me as you. It is right here as I speak these words. I claim for each of us today a release of fear, a release of anything that causes me fear, and I embrace a deep, loving, supportive expression of faith. Faith that creates the wholeness of my being. I claim that my faith has no boundaries. This faith keeps me strong, capable, and no matter what human experience I have, my faith keeps me strong and capable. I breathe in this mystical grace of faith with each breath that I take. I claim an inner sanctuary of faith that endlessly nourishes and supports me. With a grateful heart, I say thank you, and for this ability to deny the presence of fear and to claim strongly right here, right now, faith. Faith. I can grab a hold of it and feel it. I'm so grateful to this community for all of those hearing my voice here in this room and online. And if I should forget, I know you'll remember for me. And I know if you forget, I will remember for you. I lovingly bless and release these words by saying, and so it is. Amen.
When I Forget by Michael Gott. When I forget, will you remember for me? When I forget, will you remember for me? Help me see what you see when I forget.
When you forget, I will remember for you. When you forget, I will remember for you. I will see what you can't see. When you forget,
When I forget, will you remember for me?
I will remember.
When I forget, will you remember for me? Help me see what you see when I forget. When I forget. When I forget. When I
Well, first of all, a warm thank you to Mary, Demon, for her message today. And thank you to Maggie and Michael for the great music.